Hey everyone, I'm Matthew.
And I'm Andrew.
And in a bloom first of just me and Andrew on camera, we're going to walk through our trip to CanJam Singapore, kind of talk about all that we did at the show, seeing some sights in Singapore itself, visiting Zeppelin and Co. And we also have some interviews from some manufacturers and vendors at the show that we'll be showing later on in the video. If you're looking for a strict impressions guides on the products we took a look at the show, that'll be in the link in the description. You can check that out on our website or on HeadFi. All right, so as for the trip itself, the travel, I mean, it is a daunting 19-hour direct flight, longest flight in the world, direct. So what did you think about it? Did you think it was as bad as you expected, better, or just kind of like, it's 19 hours, it is what it is?
It was pain. It was absolute pain. Going there was not that bad because the flight there, you leave in the morning. So you just wake up, get on a flight, you spend the day in a flight. You know, it just feels like you've been up for a long time. But flying home, our flight wasn't until 11:30 p.m. So we were up for the whole day and then up for another 19 hours in the plane. So that was rough.
Yeah.
The whole time and like lack of sleep thing was really rough, but the trip itself was worth it.
Oh my gosh.
Like I don't regret anything. Like going was awesome, but the sleep and the travel is just, it sucks. I mean, it just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I anticipated just how heavily I'd be impacted by the 12-hour change. I thought it was going to be like, you know, one day of adjustment. No.
It was basically 5 days of adjustment.
Yeah.
And then we flew home. And now I'm still adjusting back to Eastern time. So it's a lot of nonsense. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. But I would say, yeah, the flight itself there, not bad, totally comfortable. Flight back was like last 3 hours, just totally
It was awful. Yeah. I didn't sleep for either flight, but coming home, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I'd get like 10 minutes in of Elden Ring. My eyes would start burning. I'd get a headache. I'd like just try to close my eyes. 3 hours later, I still can't sleep. 10 minutes of Elden Ring. I mean, it was just terrible.
Meanwhile, the flight attendant couldn't even wake me up apparently.
Yeah.
On the way back.
There was a little gathering around people who were just poking you, trying to get you to wake up.
It's like one of those please touch museums. Just the lady just
you have that effect on people.
Lastly, regarding the travel of the trip, how about the Jewel Airport? I mean, holy.
She was a beauty.
She was a beauty.
She was a beauty. People told us like, come to the airport 5 hours before your flight or 10 hours before your flight, and like just the airport itself is a destination, which is true.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like if you want to shop, it's like the biggest shopping mall I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then it's just gorgeous. I mean, the indoor waterfall is like the tallest in the world or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. Everything in Singapore is like done awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like all of the anything you would see in the country that is like Singapore's version of like a thing, an airport. It's an incredible airport.
Yeah. I mean, I was walking it for, I think, 4 hours, 3.5 hours. And I mean, just the amount of stores and activities and restaurants, I was just blown away. And like staring at the waterfall, the light show, seeing it come kind of alive at night. It was incredible. I was pretty blown away.
It was cool. Yeah. All of the like main touristy things they tell you to do in Singapore, like seeing like the gardens, was incredible. Seeing, what did we do, like that like overhang site?
Oh,
what's that
yeah,
thing called?
what? I don't know.
I don't know.
The tallest the 3 buildings connected.
Yeah, there's some tall building where you just go out and you just have
the
like
overhang observatory.
Sure. Yeah, that's what it was called. That was so cool. I mean, it's a beautiful country.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Totally awesome. So now transitioning into our favorite part of the city, favorite meal. What do you think gets your spotlight?
We didn't really see that much of the city.
Right.
I mean, the coolest thing that we saw, like that was touristy, was the gardens.
Yeah.
And the best meal was a recommendation from Zeppelin and Company in the same shopping mall that Zeppelin and Company's in. They said, like, go around the corner, there's a Thai restaurant where there's just a line of people all the time. And we got in this line, and they're just famous for like one dish. It's fried chicken and rice with an over easy egg on top, and it's like just in this incredible sauce. And
it's so good. I'm thinking about it now. I'm thinking about it.
Oh my gosh. It was one of the, you eat these rare meals where as you're eating it, you're just thinking like, I'm already sad about knowing that I'm going to be finished. Yeah. It was just unbelievable. Yeah. And then there's this queen there. We call her the queen. The queen. She's like, I don't know, she's the owner or something. She's bussing tables and like, she's like ringleading this entire establishment. Yeah. But she just went so hard. Yeah. Like you just knew that like she dominated this entire place. Yeah. It was a sight to behold.
I mean, she's just out there bussing tables. We were trying to pay in USD and she was just like, we'll make it work. Here's your change. I mean, it was just the whole experience. Like,
yeah, it was awesome.
It was 3 meals a day, right?
3 meals a day. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 meals a day.
If you ever visit Zeppelin and Company, it's 20 feet from them. Yeah. And it's awesome.
Fantastic. Yeah. Total highest of recommendations for sure. So easily, I think both of our favorites.
Yeah, we ate some great food there, but that was where it was just like, you get that off. And it was like $5 or something.
It was ridiculous.
It was like $5 and some of the best Thai food I've ever had. Yeah. If not the best Thai food I've ever had.
Yeah, totally agree. So now speaking about Zeppelin & Co., why in the world do we not have a Zeppelin & Co. here in the United States? I mean, that whole experience of just like sitting down, getting a beverage, listening to a bunch of audio products, it was so awesome. Like it was so cool.
Why don't we have why don't we have like a coffee bar / like audio shop here in the States?
I mean, Zeppelin & Co., their whole operation, it's so awesome.
It was great. Yeah. I kind of want to open one. I mean, I don't know, maybe at some point in Philadelphia a few years from now, there's like a coffee shop that has like, it's like half Bloom audio, half coffee. Yeah. But it's a cool experience. I mean, the vibe of just like going in, sitting at the bar, sitting at a table, getting a coffee, they'll come over and they're like, hey, what do you want to listen to? Yeah, bring me a ZMF Boca. Like, it's just like, it's cool. I mean, and you could just tell that they were packed. We were there on like a Tuesday afternoon, and they were pretty packed. Yeah. So I mean, those guys are awesome. Huge amounts of love for those guys over there. And I couldn't have loved that experience more.
Right. You could just tell they're so passionate about audio, so passionate about like what they were doing. Super friendly service. I mean, it was just through and through, totally awesome. So Zeppelin & Co., thanks so much for having us, and hopefully we see one in Philly soon with Bloom Audio.
Don't count it out. Yeah.
Well, now transitioning into kind of more about the show and the reason why we were there, CanJam Singapore. What was your favorite product you got to listen to at the show?
I don't know if there was like a standout one thing or one or two things that blew me away. It was really cool talking to companies that I don't see at US CanJams. So, I mean, that was really the main reason I went, is like, I wanted to meet and start potential partnerships with brands that either aren't really well represented in the US or we just don't see and connect with at all of the domestic CanJams that we go to. So, I mean, there were multiple like great experiences. It was really cool being at the Theo booth. They had a lot of really cool products.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I feel like the one product that just stands out to me is the Focus Apollo, which is the upcoming over-ear headphone from Noble. I feel like there's a little bit of bias there. Like, I love Noble. I love the Molten family. So, like just hanging out with them was really fun. But also, I really feel like this $650 over-ear Bluetooth headphone absolutely rules. Yeah. And like, I am pretty confident that it's gonna be very successful and do really well in that range. So we had heard a prototype of it at CanJam Dallas.
Yeah, CanJam Dallas.
And that was good. But hearing the final version in Singapore was like, dang, they nailed the tuning. It's got really, really good visceral bass. It's a hybrid planar and dynamic driver. So it has like the speed of planar, but it has like the really like good organic, just kind of like natural texture of dynamic driver. So I think it sounds great.
Yeah, and I like what you said about CanJam Dallas. We got to hear that prototype. It was definitely a solid pick as a Bluetooth headphone, but it's really come into its own and kind of become really, I think, what Noble envisioned from the start, and it just sounds fantastic. So.
Yeah, and a company like Noble that's been an IEM company the whole time, like just like it's just like an experiment for them to make an over-ear headphone, and just to nail it on the first try is pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So like you said, we were able to talk to some brands and dealers that we weren't able to really at domestic shows, or we got more of an extended opportunity to do so. I felt like one interaction that really stood out was Subtonic, Nightjar, and Symphonium audio. Symphonium was debuting a new prototype there, so it was really cool to just get to talk to them, kind of talk to them more about the manufacturing process, kind of why we haven't seen these products dealt in the US yet. So we got to have them for an interview, and you can check that out now and see their thoughts on how they got into the industry, and more so a little bit about their manufacturing process. Already doing some more interviews here in CanJam Singapore. We're met by Subtonic and Nightjar and Symphonium Audio here. We're just going to kind of talk about the production process through these 3 IEMs. So if you want to go ahead and start us off with Subtonic Storm.
Thank you for introducing us. We are the Singaporean trio. It's a record recently. Yeah, so for the Subtonic Storm, it will be a re-release somewhere in about maybe August. Yeah, so if you look closely into the camera, it's actually a hand enamel faceplate, right? We put clear lacquer on it, clear enamel on it. We heat it in the oven. Yeah, so the person that does the hand enameling is actually Felix right here. Yeah, so he takes the enamel powder, put it bit by bit, and then blasts it in the oven. Yeah, so that's how the Storm is actually made for the faceplates. Yeah, but it's not just the faceplates. There's also the very complex crossover process where all of the mid drivers are actually all bandpassed. Yeah, it's something very rare in the industry, something you don't really see from other manufacturers. So it's something extremely complex that pretty much only 2 people in the world can do it. Yeah, which is why we trust Symphonium to do it for us.
Okay, so for us, currently the product we have that we are showcasing is the Singularity. So for the Singularity, the main highlight of it is it's tuned with a big bass shelf while keeping the mids and highs natural. So the main complexity with that is maintaining the chambering process and manufacturing in a way that lets us maintain a constant frequency response while also maintaining the quality from unit to unit and making sure the sound quality is to the standard that we want.
Yeah, so actually for CanJam Singapore this year, we are launching a new IEM. It's called Titan. I'll just show it here. It has a forged carbon insert, and it's blue. So we kind of did a bit of a color pairing for it. But outside from just the looks itself, it's something that we have not done before, and it's our take on a bass cannon. So actually, it's very different from a normal bass cannon where you have a very big bass uplift all the way to the end. So what we did with Titan actually is that there is a slight bass uplift but a very large sub bass uplift, and that actually is very much in line with all our Symphonium products where we actually don't really focus on bass itself but really on sub bass. And on bass what we focus on is actually like the tactility, the detail retrieval from like the bass itself. Yeah, so this is what we will consider our version of a bass cannon, basically.
Yeah. You put it perfectly, because listening to it, it's like fun at no cost. You get that great bass and you still get the technical details. It's just excellent all around. But I kind of want to ask you guys, like, what kind of inspired the creation process of these IEMs? What kind of got you guys into this industry?
For me, it's actually been a while. I think it's been 10 years since 2014. At that point, the audio industry, you guys will agree, is very different from what it is right now. And basically, I think I can speak for a bunch of people, but we just wanted something different. We wanted something that we could have personally tuned for ourselves, so then we worked our way up from there, basically. Yeah.
Right.
So for the Storm, it's actually based off my personal preferences. And then I had a team, our lead engineer here, Chang, as well as our previous lead engineer, Ken, tune the Storm. And so the whole idea behind Storm is like a no-cost, considered kind of like approach, right? No hands are pulled. It's all just the best and the very best, right? Which is why even the shells down to the pouches are all of the highest quality, for example. Yeah, so in effect, I think that the Storm holds up very well against the current market. I feel like even, let's say from 5 years down the road, I feel like Storm will still hold up and hold up this test of time.
So for Singularity, it was actually a community request. So at that point in time, most of the bass heavy IEMs in the market they were always offset by either very elevated upper mids or very elevated treble, so V-shaped and U-shaped signatures. So there was there wasn't really anything with really large bass response while maintaining natural mids and highs. So the community kind of asked us whether we could do it. So at that point in time, I was experimenting with single drivers, and I managed to get pretty positive results early on. So we continued development, and we continued working with several driver suppliers to kind of find the one that fit in terms of getting us the response that we wanted, and also the sound quality that we wanted. So I think it's turned out pretty well, and so far reception has been very positive. So yeah, I think in general, like the three brands, all three of our brands, we are trying to, we are looking to make things that we can't really find elsewhere in the market. We've all been consumers at one point or another, and
we are still consumers.
Yeah, we are still consumers. So basically, we look around and like anything we can't find, we're like, can we make it? And if we can, we're like, let's make it. Yeah.
Hi, Kimpa. That's awesome. Well, I thank you guys so much for your time, and you guys are all making products that a lot of people are really enjoying. So thank you so much, and it's great talking with you guys.
So as for RAAL, they kind of actually stole a good portion of the show for kind of a must-listen atmosphere. It felt like a lot of people were talking about Imanis, a lot of people talk about Magna. How cool was Alexander in being able to talk with him more at the show, and just how accommodating he was when the room wasn't even open yet, and like we walk by thinking about interviewing him, and he just like stands up, just opens the room, says, "Oh, come in, you want to listen to something?" Like he's totally awesome.
He rules. Yeah, he totally rules.
Yeah, he does.
I just love the hospitality and the like passion for these are his babies,
right? And
he wants you to listen to them. And just super cool guy. Let us interview him. Let us hang there for a while. They're great headphones.
Yeah,
I mean these things are great. I was a OG SR1A fanboy when that thing came out, and you know, it's a divisive headphone in terms of it doesn't really fit like a headphone. It requires a special amplifier. Like, I get why that's not for everybody, but what they did with these two headphones, I mean, if you've got the coinage, they both are great.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like Magni a little bit more. The tuning on it, like it just sounded more natural to me. Both incredible headphones, and paired with high-end amps, I mean,
yeah,
just totally
perfect.
Yeah,
it was perfect. And Alexander, again, just so accommodating, and hearing his passion for ribbon drivers and the direction RAAL is moving in now was super cool, and you can get a taste of that here with this interview. Alrighty, I'm here live from CanJam, Singapore. We're doing some interviews. Today we are here with Alexander from RAAL 1995. How you doing today, Alexander?
Very good. Very good, thank you.
Good. Have you done CanJam Singapore before? Is this the first?
No, it's my first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You enjoying the show so far?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We had a great day yesterday.
Awesome. So I kind of want to talk about the rebrand of RAAL 1995, kind of what inspired this, and the reason for the change.
Well, it's not really a change. RAAL Records is here to stay, but we've just branded a new line of products that'll be no effort spared kind of product line.
Right.
You know, so whatever we need to do to make the best we can,
right,
we will do.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no budget cap anymore on a product. You know, like okay, let's project a project for this kind of retail price. No, nothing of the sort. So whatever we have to do, we have to do. Unfortunately, the price goes up, but you know, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it was worth it from the listening me and Andrew got to do yesterday. It was
I sure hope
just
so,
simply fantastic. And
thank you.
What's kind of gotten you into ribbon drivers, and why do you think they're kind of different from, you know, other drivers out there, like planar magnetic, dynamic drivers? What kind of sets ribbon drivers apart?
Well, they share the lightweight structure with, well, almost with electrostats. They're still lighter. But as opposed to stats and planars, they can have higher force per unit of area of the diaphragm. So when you marry lightweight mass with high force per unit of surface area, you get really good drive. And they can instantly react to any input and instantly stop to any input because they don't suffer from drum modes, for example. Diaphragms that are clamped all around their circumference. suffer from drum modes, and it's very, very hard to dampen those. Whereas ribbon is just clamped top and bottom and acts like a stretched wire, like on any wire instrument. And it has normally, naturally developing resonances and their harmonics that are musical,
right?
Because you make instruments out of that, you know. And a diaphragm that's clamped all around its circumference is basically a drum. So drum doesn't have a tone; it has a noisy structure of its sound, you know. Whereas a stretched wire, in this case, wire beaten down to be so thin to become a ribbon, has normal wire resonant modes, and we find it musical. So I don't need to dampen it so much to kill the dynamics.
Yeah, I like that term musical, because when we listened to Amanus and Magna yesterday, that's, I think, exactly how I would describe it. It's musical and it's emotional and it's super engaging.
Yeah, it is. It is. That's because of unbridled dynamics.
Yeah.
Most of all. And second of all, yeah, it has a flat response. There are no portion of the spectrum missing. Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of work to make it so.
How long have these two products been in production? How long have they taken to make?
They haven't started production yet. These are just show demos that we've managed to put together. So the supply will start in about 15 days.
Awesome.
In very small quantities, and then we're going to be ramping it up because we have a lot of pre-orders.
Awesome. Awesome. How long did these two show demos take to manufacture?
Well, it was because of hurdles and problems with our vendors that weren't delivering the parts on time, and when they did, they were bad, so we had to redo. But I honestly don't know, because we're 1 year into development of these, you know. So we were trying different things along the way. So this is basically the final iteration of the products. I mean, both of them.
Right.
And we'll see how long it takes to manufacture these, but we can't make many of these per month.
Yeah. Well,
very tricky.
I'm sure you're very proud of the show demos thus far.
Oh yes, I am. Yeah.
Thanks so much for taking the time to do this, Alexander. It's great speaking with you.
All right.
So moving on to Noble, we talked a little bit about Apollo, and both really did grab our attention there. So being able to talk with the wizard himself, John Moulton, at the show, it's definitely pretty cool. He's a pretty funny guy. I enjoyed my interactions with him. But being able to kind of pick his brain about, you know, Apollo and their first attempt at over-ear headphone was definitely pretty cool. So being able to interview him was definitely a cool opportunity. So he's going to be able to talk a little bit more about the Apollo here in this interview. Alrighty, doing another set of interviews with a man that probably needs no introduction in the hi-fi hobby, Mr. Moulton, the Wizard. How you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. Yeah. Well, you know, we got a Noble first here with the Apollo, and just kind of want to talk a little bit about it. And, you know, as you know, it is a Noble first. What's kind of been your favorite part of the design process and going through the motions of designing Bluetooth headphone?
I couldn't really tell you the favorite part. All of it's been great as far as I'm concerned. It's something that I always thought that as a company we should do.
Right.
I always thought that we could do. And finally we got in a situation that we were able to.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah,
it's getting great reactions both from us and the crowd, and I know you seem very passionate and excited about it. So
yeah, we knew that if we were going to do this, we better do it right.
Yeah.
Because you know there's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah.
So we swung for the fences, as they say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of competition, what do you think really sets Apollo apart from, you know, the rest of the pack? And
okay. I really don't know enough about the pack to tell you.
Okay.
But to be honest, I could tell you some of the features, and then you guys can decide. But I think you probably know, but it has 6 microphones buried within inside. It has ANC function. It'll accept wired or wireless, depending on how you want to run it. It'll also take USB-C input, so you can listen to it directly from your phone or your player, however you want to do it. In ANC mode, it has a playtime of 60 hours, and ANC off, it is 80 hours. Yeah. Another feature that is kind of cool is if you're running wired, it can run through the DAC if you have the headphone turned on. And if you're running with it off, then your input is straight from your DAC. So
awesome.
It's up to you however you want to run it.
Now, can we maybe expect a full wired version from Noble in the future with a headphone?
Yeah, we're kind of wanting to jump into this.
Awesome.
I think it's if I may be so bold, I think our brand can carry this type of situation, meaning we would like to be strong in both wired IEMs, strong in Bluetooth IEMs, no wire, strong in headphones as well. So that's
awesome.
where we'd like to be. We have other ideas on
awesome.
the way.
I look forward to it, and I look forward to Apollo's full release. John, thanks for doing this.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah. Congrats on the release.
It's been fun to meet you.
Yeah.
So we were also able to talk to Aries from FlipEars, who underwent a little bit of revisions with his tunings and got some feedback from CanJam SoCal, where I originally met him. So it was cool to catch up with him in Singapore and just have him kind of walk through his lineup with us and give us a better understanding of why the revisions happened the way that they did. It was also cool to see the aesthetic changes on some of his IEMs. They just look gorgeous now. I mean, some of them are just like ridiculous.
I love how he took the feedback
Yeah.
from the community and like went and did exactly what you should do in that scenario. Like all of the changes he made to the tunings, all improvements.
Yep.
And I feel like it's just so cool to see again, like the passion of an artist who is creating these IEMs originally really designed for pro use. So tuned more towards reference, people in the studio, now seeing like, okay, there's an audiophile market and a need to really revamp the way these are tuned. He just did a fabulous job.
Yeah, he did. And it is, like you said, just super cool to see because this, these are very personal to him. And, to get feedback maybe on something that you really like yourself and to go back and tweak it, I think is really cool. So this is Aries talking about his revisions on his lineup and just a little bit more about FlipEars himself. Do another set of interview here at CanJam Singapore. Is this your first CanJam Singapore?
It is our first CanJam Singapore. This is my second CanJam.
Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, it was CanJam SoCal was your first?
The first time, yeah, the first.
Sweet.
Yeah, I met you there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's when I went through the lineup. But now you revised the whole thing. If you want to walk us through that revision process and kind of what that was like.
SoCal is an eye-opener for me, definitely, because it is the first time I've discovered that there's such a thing like a Western taste and there's a Eastern taste. That's where it's definitely an eye-opener that, we have to refresh and, accommodate what the Western market wants. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, from the Artha Argentum, it's still, by the way, this is our new release.
Yeah.
It's the silver version of the original Artha, which is has 4 switches, gives you 4 different sound signatures. Basically, it's 5 decibels increment, so it gives you flexibility and versatility. So it's the same, but it sounds different because of the acoustics and the resonance that silver gives you. Yeah. And then the revision, the one big revision is the Zerk XXIV. We added one more mid driver to it, and just to give you that lush signature that FlipEars offers. But we took away that sizzle spice in the upper highs that I got feedback from the CanJam SoCal, but it's now smoother. It still gives you that electrostatic feel, the air, but it doesn't fatigue you anymore. So it's smoother and it's more fun and engaging. And with what else? The Aurora XXIV. It's really I was inspired. That tuning is inspired from the SoCal visit. So we gave it a deeper but cleaner sub lows, but still has the lush mids that is my preference. And then smoothen out the upper highs. So I hope you guys take a listen and enjoy.
Yeah, no, I thought the revisions sound great, and I really kind of respect your decision to take feedback and kind of tune things more to what the community had to say. I think that's really awesome.
It's very important to listen, and not get hurt by the feedback. Take criticism in a positive way. Yeah. So that's what we aim for, is to improve every time we hear feedback, and that's really good. I mean.
And I'm under the understanding that you were in pro audio before you were in the audiophile scene. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm a musician myself. I'm a
awesome.
touring musician.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So we're. That's how I got into the industry.
What do you think is the biggest difference between pro audio and making more audiophile style products?
It's audiophiles are more picky.
Yeah.
It's critical. It's analytical. It's crazy, but it's fun at the same time. Pro audio is very easy to please. Just give them a clear vocals, a good. Actually, they like bass a lot to compensate the loss of bass in the IEM system, because it cuts off the low frequency. So that's all they need. Clarity, that's it. But when it's about audiophile IEMs or audio, you have to consider depth, width, timing, phase, everything. And that's really what I like. I mean, I like to think, I like to solve problems. I want to hear the feedback that, oh, there's such thing like this. Okay, I'm enjoying it. I might as well jump and be an audiophile. So it's fun. It's really fun.
It is. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this. I think FlipEars has just done a great job, and it was awesome listening. So
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we were able to also visit Eletech's office in Singapore, which was just an awesome opportunity to be able to see cables that we use in the office manufactured, right in front of us by one guy just doing his thing, just a true artist in his element. And, again, just seeing that craftsmanship, it was just an awesome experience.
Yeah, he was making a sonnet of Atom, and just watching this guy work. They have a team of people who make cables, but they brought this guy into the office to show us, and then there were a couple other distributors from Hong Kong and Korea there. But it's just so cool seeing him work his magic. He's got the cables hooked up, and he's swinging them around, and he's got the fire going, and you could just tell that he's like an expert at what he does.
Right.
Like, it's not, these cables aren't being made by a machine, in an assembly line with cheap materials. Like, they're using the highest quality, made by hand. Like, it was really cool to see.
Yeah, and it's always a good time to see Eric and talk with him, somebody that's been in the industry for a while. Just to be able to pick his brain and kind of talk with him more was it's always a good time. So it was cool to see him in his own element, be with Ricardo and just get a tour of the place. And they were super accommodating and friendly, and letting us come to their space and talk with them a little bit more. So I got to sit down with Eric himself, talk about the Baroque ear tips, talk about the new Versa cables, and so you can check out that interview here. Fresh off the heels of CanJam Singapore, I'm here with Eric Chong, founder of Eletech. Eric, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. So how was the show for you? How many years have you been doing CanJam Singapore now?
We've been doing CanJam Singapore for about 5 years now.
Okay.
No, actually 4 years because of COVID. So we skipped 1 year, so it's about 4 years down.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been a really busy show. There's a lot of partners like you guys coming over to visit, so there's a ton of fun as well as the show feedbacks and everything. So it's been crazy, and it's our home ground, CanJam. So it's more difficult than when we fly to New York and stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. Just kind of want to talk a little bit about Eletech Baroque, how much it's taken the market by storm. I know we use it a lot in the office personally and stuff, and just kind of talk about the evolution and kind of what's to come. I know you're doing the TWS Baroques now, so.
Okay. So the Baroques itself, we're gonna release new brands in between sizes, right? So the MS, the ML, and the extra large is gonna come, right? Because we have received feedbacks on the ground that because Baroques are so small, even though the dimensions are the actual dimensions as other makes. So because it's so soft, it's actually, how do I put it? feels like it's one size down. So which is why we're going to release the in-between sizes right now. So at CanJam Singapore, we actually preview the TWS Baroques as well as the AirPods Pro Baroques. So those are slightly different make, and they are slightly more antibacterial. Reason being because we feel, it could be a personal opinion, we feel that because IEM users are more meticulous, so they kind of wipe down their tips and everything after every use. But for the TWS AirPods users, they are less meticulous. So we added in a little bit more antibacterial kind of properties into the structure, so you don't have to really clean it, and it will stay white. So that's for the new ones that's coming. Following on, we will try to market first, and we'll receive the feedback if there's a lot of calls for like in-between sizes as well for the TWS and AirPods. We'll release them in the future. Now, Baroques it's a project that has been evolving as we move on. We already have ideas on the next generation of Baroques, but it's not going to come so soon. So we might do hybrids as well further down the road, like with silicon with foam, as well as they're using different kind of materials to play around with for the actual silicon itself. So yeah, Baroques is moving as we go. Yeah,
they've easily been instant success. So I'm really excited to see how they kind of move forward. But now moving, with 5-year anniversary for Eletech, I know you guys have 2 new cables coming out. If you kind of just want to talk about those, their sound signatures, and just kind of what have separated them from your product line now.
So it's our 5th year anniversary. So it's a year of rediscovering ourselves and actually pushing the tech to a new level. So this year, for our first preview, we actually discontinued the Socrates and Plato. So this is being succeeded by the Aristotle and Euclid. Right, the Aristotle and Euclid, it's quite different from what we are used to. So it's a lot thicker, it's 18 AWG. So the challenge of doing such a cable was not in terms of the sound design, it's in ergonomics design. I've tried a lot of 18 AWG cable, but the ergonomics is not something that I'll prefer. So a lot of our research in the earlier initial stages, it's about solving this issue. So once we've gotten that in, we've managed to make the Aristotle and Euclid really flexible and really wearable. So that's that. And then we went on further to develop a different kind of sound for each profile. Aristotle is definitely vocal-centric, something with visceral bass, and it's really, really rich. While the Euclid is what we're going for is a big sound stage, and fine details itself. So that's something to look forward to.
Awesome. I'm really excited to check them out. So that's going to be great. And last question I kind of want to ask about was the Versa cables and kind of moving into that. What's kind of been the difference there in manufacturing and kind of some of maybe the challenges or just differences in making these cables in comparison to your old ones?
Okay. The Versa, it's a modular system, as you guys are aware of. The issue with that is that in 2018, 2019, there are already such systems in the market, but it is by a coaxial system. So in 2020, we kind of experimented with this kind of available market systems itself, but there are quite a lot of inherent issues I personally find that with these kind of systems, with signal drops, with changing the sound signature, with transmission speed being slower, imbalance, and etc. So because those are physics issues that comes along with coaxial systems. So we've been experimenting with a lot of designs, but none of them seems to work, which is why Versa came in so late. Right, so late last year, we actually managed to complete the Versa system. It's with a 2-pin design. So in order to increase the signal flow, we use really good materials, as well as we redesigned the 2-pin design. So if you pluck out the Versa on the back, on the high side, you will see that it's using a 2-pin, but a much thicker 2-pin. So that actually helps us improve the contact area and also on the signal transmission. So Versa, we're really glad with how it turned out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's toolless as well, so you can just do everything by hand.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to checking them out, and I know a lot of people are really excited about them. But Eric, I appreciate you doing this. I'm excited to see all the new products coming out. So thanks again.
You. Cheers.
Alrighty, well, that was a small glimpse into our trip to Singapore. I'm already thinking about when we're going to go back, just how fun it was.
Yeah, hopefully next year.
Yeah.
If not in 2 years, but it was great.
It was awesome.
It was really cool.
I don't want anybody to be deterred by the extensive travel. You know, if you're able to afford the trip, if you're able to go, highly recommend it.
If you could sleep on an airplane, first of all, I'm very jealous. Second of all, like, that makes a big difference.
Yeah,
because you can sleep, you know, solid 6 hours in that plane, and it's a lot less of an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. Regardless, awesome trip. The Head-Fi team, of course, as always, put on an amazing show, and just the city itself, you know, it was great. Like seeing Singapore for the first time, being with you know, my dear friend Matt. It was great. Like I couldn't have asked for more.
Yeah, it was awesome and very accommodating to Westerners with how much English, you know, was portrayed everywhere.
I think English is the default language there. I mean, it was very, very accommodating.
Street signs, I mean, marketing, everything. It was awesome. So if you're able to make the trip, we hope to see you next year or maybe the year after that. But that's all we got. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with more high fidelity audio content.